our screens.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having
All right.
me.
So let's, go to the reason why we are here. Okay, Counselor, I know you to be a very, wonderful person. And then when it comes to counseling and what you say, you go straight to the point, you nail it, and that is why I like you so much. You don't just beat about the bush. You go straight to the main thing, right? And there has been a lot going on, in the world. Yeah. And it's about marriages, a lot of divorces everywhere. Even when this coronavirus came, a lot of divorces have risen up, and it's everywhere. People are depressed, stressed, some are committing suicide, some have got sicknesses, cancer and stuff like that. It's so much everywhere. So before we get into marriage, I don't know that, everybody will have to go into what they say courtship or dating. But I want you to let people know, or especially to myself, let me know, what is the difference between that courtship and dating? So people can say, I was please, can you differentiate between the two?
Well, thank you very much. I think that
Okay.
Let me say a cherished good evening again to viewers and all of you on Facebook. Greetings to all my fans down here in Ghana on Counselor Utrot live page. Thank you for coming, and it's time for school for the people in the UK. So, if you ask that, what's the difference between courtship and dating? Is that a question you're asking, or what is courtship alone?
Yes.
Okay, so dating is fixing a date.
No, what's the difference between
Flow? Oh, I'm listening.
Okay, no. You can give us what courtship is and what dating is, and then the differences between the two, because people are a bit confused.
Okay, so when we say dating happens to be fixing a date and time to have the demographic data of an individual, which means you want to meet the person and know who the person is. So dating is not a relationship. Dating is a time fixed for a meeting. It could be any meeting. This meeting we're having is a date. So when somebody say I have a date with you, it's fixing time, date, and venue, so we can have a discussion specifically on some issues. And if it's a dating towards the intent for relationship, then before you start dating, you need to go for premarital counseling, which means that you are walking out there with an intent and with a plan. And that particular specific plan is a plan that you want to discover who you are, know where you're coming from, know where you're going, have what we call the expedition to your family's kingdom, know the do's and don'ts of your family. Like nimebusuani bibia, ebusuani chiwade yechi before yechi asante for yechi nkran for me fiha me papa ni penny. I mean, if you don't know your father and you don't have any connection with your father and your mother, you can't get married, because when you get married, the marriage won't work. It won't work because everybody has a role to play in your life. That is why a lot of people are getting married and are getting divorced. The reason is not because the devil is at work, but it's because they don't the protocol that must be followed for marriage are not there. So during dating, that is where you discover yourself, know what you want, know occupationally your what we call the occupational compatibility. So that is what happens in dating.
Please check your volume. Your volume.
Is it too loud or low?
Your volume.
Is it low? Is my volume too low for you or too high? Is it okay?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, that's strange.
Wow,
Then can you check
strange
from your end, because I'm not muted? Can you please check from your end if it's from your end? Because I'm okay here.
Oh, why is the volume not working?
Well, it was working earlier.
In a minute, let me. Okay, I can't hear the volume.
Okay, so my people here, you are here with me. And unfortunately for us, the people in the UK who have the best technology, they can't hear my volume. So I will come straight ahead with you so that we can be able to finish our own. So I think they muted it. They didn't see. I just saw that they have muted me from where they are sitting. But she has a very, very important question, and then that is where we are now, and I'm trying to explain to them. So I've said it several times to all of you what dating is not and what dating is. And that is where we are now at the moment. Thank you very much. They are back again, and we can flow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for telling us the difference. So, how long should we date, or how long should we see each other before we get into marriage?
All right. So in my preamble and explanation where I got to, I was saying that before one goes for dating, you need to go for premarital counseling. And the reason is that it should give you an opportunity to discover who you are, so you can introduce yourself during the dating time to the person you are meeting. There are protocols in dating. And because we are not treating dating as a topic, I'll just brush it. For want of a better word, if somebody wants to have a date with you to know you, the protocol, one of them is that they don't pick you from your house. That's one. They don't pick you from your workplace. They actually don't transport you to where the venue is. Nobody should take you for a date to a surprise environment. Anywhere you want to be taken for a date, you should have an idea about where you are going. Dating cannot be a surprise. It should be something that you should know where they are taking you. You have a reason where they want you to go, and then you stick to the reason carefully so that you live by the reason. So those are some of the protocols that you need to understand when it comes to dating. The other part is that the difference between dating and courtship is that because dating is not a relationship, there are things that you can't do whilst you are dating. And most of us fall victim to it. We do it, like having sex, like fondling, like kissing, like giving money, like transporting the person. In dating, these things are not needed because dating is not a relationship. It's just trying to know. That is why you can date more than 10 people at the same time. There's nothing wrong in dating more people at the same time. As apparently, if you date one person in a year, if you date just one person or for more than 14 days in a year, you have a mental disorder or you have a physical challenge that nobody wants to have you. Because once you're not married, you're right to date a lot of people to discover what is good for you and what people want from you is very, very, very important. The difference between dating and courtship is simple. So as I was saying earlier, when it comes to dating, it is not a relationship. But courtship is understood to be the period in which the suggest couple. You know that courtship is said to be a court relationship. It's the moment where we live in Ghana will call it after knocking and taking the list. That's courtship for us in Ghana. But for the rest of you who don't have anything like knocking, when you enter into your date, when the person falls within your category, then you give the person a ring, which signifies that I am going to marry you, where you start preparing to marry the person. So in that particular vein, it is said that one is what we call courtship. But that one involves sexual intercourse and romantic moment. So once the two of you have planned, can we get married or may we get married? Will you marry me? The game you play in your countries, people will kneel down in the marketplace and say, will you marry me? That thing you do and give rings out from your area, it means courtship. So it is recognized. Courtship is recognized, and it involves romantic and sexual relationship. So these are the two basic things that you have. And you ask, how long can it last? When somebody is courting you, they are courting you because they have gotten the requirements that makes them become a husband to you. And they've gotten the requirement that makes you becomes a wife. So at the end of the day, when you find that two people are in courtship, it means that in less than 18 months, they want to get married. In less than 18 months, they want to get married. So if somebody say we have been courting for 7 years, for 8 years, for 9 years, for 10 years, I've been dating this guy for 9 years. Best 13 years near. Namiko screen amenesha say be see na ye we is a mental deficiency. Who na time will be ampel. And so be pel panka. Na kan tena bema ba ko ho enfie dudu aye kai. If you say e ba ne say na bema e choko sa yes what you say. So the matter is there is a time bound to it. And now when somebody comes to say I am courting you, he is not married to you. So any other person can sneak you and marry you. And you ban the courtship. Na ano obia kobo kokoko onya yire. Obia to be yire wo de ko ekowale. You don't waste time with them. That's why you don't need one person to court. And courtship comes where you believe say baby I do it here. Judge Bluetooth number 7 why no. Na so wan wale wa. Eno nkyere say nkokun because enya wade.
Council, before you go on, sir, do you mean say baby ni be a nancy worry. Oba to me edit 2 or 3 guys at the same time to send a bell say way and now way.
Aye, they took me dating for 200 at the same time. A capacity building.
Really?
Oh yes.
Who do you choose?
And the man said I won't cry and member 30 years now. Now say we who a problem. Anytime a girl says I'm torn between 2 men, I don't know who to choose. The problem is not the men, the problem is her. That's why I said that you need to go for counseling before you say you're going to choose. Because you see, when you enter a supermarket to buy, if you don't have a decision on what you want to buy, the money can buy a lot of things in the same supermarket. And it's choosing a life partner. So when you don't have an idea about what you want, it becomes difficult to choose. So choosing a life partner, you need to go through counseling so that you know what you want, so that you don't bring what you don't want home. So how can 30 boys or 30 men around you qualify to be your lawful wedded husbands in future? It can be. You can't have 30 men at the same time loving you at the same. No, it can be. That's an error in the life of the girl. You need counseling to manage that.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, you mentioned something like you go for counseling, and I want to add to some of us go through counseling with our pastors. Any other the pastors will counsel us. They don't make us say 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 1 year counseling. But after the counseling, you see, in a short time, maybe a year or within 6 months or 9 months, now there is a problem. So do you think, sir, counseling do you think, sir, how the pastors do the counseling affected the married couples and no one here?
Nukurani say counseling is helping one to make an informed decision. It does here. So when a counselor meets a counselee and they are doing marriage counseling, it is just to inform you about the journey you want to make and the speed ramps, the potholes, the traffic lights that are on the road that you have not passed before. So counseling is helping one to make an informed decision. And once you are able to know what it is to make an informed decision, that is where you become informed to make a choice. That's what I'm saying. That the first thing is that you need what we call the premarital counseling. And the premarital counseling in the first place is to help you discover what you can live with for the rest of your life. The church counseling is what we call the counseling of the dogma. The church wants you to know their rules and regulations governing the group you want to join. Because in Ghana, there's nothing called church marriage. I don't know if it's you in UK, you have church marriage. But in Ghana, we don't have church marriage. There's nothing called church marriage. People do weddings in the church. So it's church wedding, but there's nothing called church. There's nothing called Christian marriage in the first place. Because the three types of marriages we have in Ghana here is the Mohammedan marriage, it is the customary marriage, and the civil marriage. And you can marry two. So if you do the traditional marriage, you stop there. If you continue to civil, then you nullify the traditional and go and do civil, which is the court marriage. And the one we do in the church is the court marriage. So the pastor is gazetted, so he could administer the oath of ordinance like the judge would do in the court. So the church doesn't have marriage. So the counseling they do is to tell you that once you want to join our group so that we can witness as cloud of witnesses in your marriage, these are the rules that governs us. The counseling they do in church for marriage is not the same thing they do in my place, for example, as a professional counselor for marriage. So we are not doing the same thing. They are using the dogma to bring knowledge to you so that you abide by the rules in the church. But when it comes to professional counseling, it is not about the rules in the church. It's not about anything, it's about your life. So I help you go through your life. So if you ask if people come for counseling and all of a sudden after they finish their counseling, then they have fight in the marriage, this thing is what you should learn. Nobody can play marriage before marriage. Let me repeat. Nobody can play marriage before you marry. Bibi eni asasi so a obi betima ye ewo awade mu a oye ansa na ware. Awade anamu ntuo no eye soronko. Enti de eye wo mprantwi mu no ye ntimi nya awade mu. Enti no bi nwale wo. No ne wo twempena na wo gigi ni sika. Enye nhye. Enti mi ti so bi se e be ma oni na twempena on ma wade de o wale no ma ohwe da bi. Bema on wale wo no o ma wo sika sedan. Ni ngina so nti a o ma wo sika ne de we. Bema onye ho ade. Yenko kan. You see on wo 12 fees ama wa your masters program. Said then or 12 fees are your masters program said then or your papa or your NGO I know your then. On no more feeding fee. As what? Because bema on wale wo no you don't become a widow when your boyfriend dies, when your sex mate dies. You don't become a widow. So you cannot play marriage before marriage. So there's nothing that, but what we make you understand is that when two people come together, science made it clear to us for us to believe that like poles repel, unlike poles attract. And before two unlike poles, unlike poles will attract, there is friction. And within that friction, most of the electrons from one part goes into the other part so that they'll be able to repel and work together. Bible says, how can two work together unless they agree? So in marriage, in counseling, we make you know what is available from the other party and what is available in your party. Are the two of you going to be compatible when you marry? This is what we do in counseling. So if people say they go through proper counseling, and they go into the marriage and the marriage collapse, I beg to say that rather from my end, I see 85% of good marriages from my end after counseling as compared to 90 to 98% of the counseling in the church that rather causes divorce than the professional one I do. Because in my place, if there are pitfalls and there are potholes that has been promised to be filled, and they have not filled it, I will not allow you to go on that road. It's not that I will force you to stop the marriage, but I'll grant you that important option to make a very informed decision. I would not marry two people who are in love and their electro forces doesn't match. One is SC and the other one is SS. And because they love themselves, I will make sure that they understand the clinical parameters and the challenges involved in having a child whose mother is SS, whose father is SC. They should allow people who have proper electrophores to meet together. So it's not about love, and that's professional counseling. I'm quick to ask, have you had sex before? And when you say yes to me, I don't ask you if the two of you have had sex. That is not important to me. I want to know about your individual sex life. Have you had sex before? Yes. How did you break your virginity? You share with me. The church is not in that angle. Have you had sex before? Your yes could lead you to what they call a sin. What the church calls a sin. Me, in my church, if you don't marry and you get pregnant, it's none of my business. I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me. And family home. It's a busunya wo dom no. Ye sure mo de hia nyensan a omo amamre ana amane ayeye. Se oba anyim na ye nye ne ho ade. Busunya wo de omo ye ma oba no. Enti se busunya je be ma na onyem wo na tum wo fie a. Me de wo ye ma asori ba. Den na me ye, me bo wasen. Wo tena nkomnya tuntum so. Me de be bia meti de minim se ejimie. Na eda ni bie beba no ensesan beba. I think that is one of the highest foolishness in some churches where people are disciplined for getting pregnant. Unfortunately for them, the people are getting pregnant and they know the implications. Is the church making money to go and take care of them? And the pastor will say, once you didn't get married, you have delivered, and you are asking for my prayer for your baby, I won't do it. No, I will do it. If you invite me to come and pray for your baby, not to name the child, because naming of children is not the duty of the pastor, it's the duty of a family. Dedicating a child is the duty of a pastor. You see, we don't know our protocols. That is why we've made marriage in. So when people go for counseling, my sister, and they say after counseling their marriage didn't work, I don't support it. I know when you go for counseling, rather, you are able to stabilize yourself in marriage. And counseling works because it is putting you in the unknown environment. So you go into marriage with anxiety and you are not expecting what you expected in your previous time amon ware yan ware koto ice cream ye nyina bedi me ne me yire fa ha ne akoto ice cream ni abedi yetim be fie 9:30 yetim be fie 12 o'clock yan wale ye do bia ne afefe ya no I wish you are going to sleep in my place and lonely I am so lonely I got nobody and now you butterfly in your womb feel sa ye wale wie a enkwala wo fie a why na ekoto ice cream e fi fa ba. What does it? So you can't play marriage. When we are not married, if we are not married and we decide to have sex before marriage, the type of sex we have, when we marry, we can never have it. Don't deceive yourself. There is nobody who have enjoyed the sex before marriage, the act in marriage. Some pema grown up mo ye no. Ekwan mi ani so metima ye bion da wawade mu. Moya emba. Sana ho sane wo emba. Sana bema brem ye emba. So don't let anybody tell you that the life you live when you are single and you're not married with a guy, when you enter into marriage, you enjoy more. No, there are times none of them will appear at all. They won't buy you cake again. Your birthday is not made, they don't make noise about your birthday again. There are things that are not needed. Yeah, dream pana no politician will continue campaigning after they win the election. Okay. And that's how the life is. And counseling helps. And once you go for professional counseling, you will never regret you did, because it is where you discover who you are so they can enter into the marriage. So when marriage is divorcing, meaning counseling, lack of counseling, professional counseling is what is causing a lot of divorce. Church counseling is causing more divorce than professional counseling. If you ask me, that's what I'll tell you.
Okay, counselor. So based on what you just said, who said, in the olden days, when we are getting into marriage now, our mothers, play a bigger role, or our fathers play a bigger role. Say the offensive answer, no one was so bad. The Upa way, who say, I was so Upa say, I was so silly share to say, if you are Beman also. Never panel never cast a bema the Opa door, you say. But these days, as a major, the parents are no major Bibiama, as for and some professional counselors, and to me now I think there's a bit of twist. Now we're really big. I say no, don't you think that if we go back to our culture and the way now, our parents play a bigger role in our life, and Kabema marriage and Akoso. Because I know people be warrior. The parents will change Now, what can hand over the woman to the man, or want to hand over your car, sorry, the man? And I don't think it's helping. I don't know your opinion on this, but.
Se mo ankasa no ansa na mo beba awade na se no mo chia no mana na mo atutu ni ntakra na mo de abada wo na ase wo nyansa anoma ba nie. The procedure that you need to follow so the family can follow you and pay your bride price, you have twisted it into wala kofaba. So the method you are saying, we are still knocking. When you knock, the most important thing they need to do after knocking is that when they knock, what you have to do is that knocking means we are requesting if your daughter is free for us to come and marry her. That's what knocking is all about. Knocking enya wade ye de ko ebisa. Ye be bisa say aye bia ye hu abawe bi onam kwan ho. Na ya adwi mu no ne honam ene ye babema no honam se. Enti ye bibisa sa ye bia obi abewale na na enye saade anka ne bibisa ne ho na se emma ye babema George Lutrot. Abusuan se yo yate ye beje nsan ne agi sika no wo nsem na mokọ insani sika na ye agi no knocking with a drink and the smaller denominational money ye de nsan koma mbranti a omote mo pro no ho e wo kwankwandu ase ne kwanya hwehwemu. So it is meant to investigate the background of the man who has come to ask our daughter's hand in marriage. So it's a fee for investigation. The fact is that when they investigate and you are not qualified to marry their daughter, the best they can do is to refuse in giving you response. They are not supposed to come back to you. But if you come to the family and they say in 2 weeks time, we better you can 2 weeks time. Ebusua we dey yatna say na wotwe miensa bia enti dasenne na wotwe miensa e ba no ye beto mo nkra na ye yi anu aba. When you stay 1 month and they have not responded, it means that they are not ready to give their daughter to you. But before the family will say Jack, now Obaba no wakoyi ni ho adi a kire obema na busuafo or the bema na started to talk ni ho ade yo bema na nyem no dada. So before ye because ye follow protocol no the WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, da. So we can't blame our families. But regardless of it, now what they be abusuan na eji enti wo kofa ba abusuan be dia to mama. But se be ndi omachi ama ya ye de se fata panka. I believe that marriage will be better than say asofo ne de eye nhwehwe ni mu. As for the pastors who are taking people's marriages as if it's theirs, no, the Bible says that for a man will leave the father and the mother. And no pastor should tell me that they are the father and the mother, because in the book of Ephesians chapter 6, the Bible says that children obey your parents in the Lord. For this is right. Honor your father and your mother. So the Bible makes a distinction about spiritual fathers. A father in the Lord is obeyed. In Ephesians, the book of Ephesians chapter 6, obey your parents in the Lord. So we have parents in the Lord. But the Bible says that for this reason, a man will leave the father and the mother. So when it comes to marriage, we don't leave spiritual fathers. So for mommy, and you also for to me, that's the thing. So you can't do these things without the family. And usually when the family says, a branch no ban always no before wale. Now say me do na so Christo ni wale. That they don't want it. Who born dog? Ebusua si ompe. Na wo so koje. Awade bi abewude mabusua si ompe biaro. Me ma wo actually so 7 years. Ubehu de ebusua ka ya ompe no. 10th year no we pese obeja awade na so. Usuro se ebusua ebe pu nti ubetena ho no awu. And when you stay in bad marriage, you become a dangerous person and you also produce danger. So any woman who stays in bad marriage becomes very dangerous, wicked, and negative influence. The same way she becomes a wicked person and also learn how to be wicked. So you don't stay in bad marriage. Bad marriages, you work on them. If they don't work, you walk out and look for a new one to be in. But the process is the beginning. Bible says, for if the foundation is corrupt, what can the righteous do? One shall say year and ko ye ma. What was it? Wa wo hwe suban a wo mu a suban ne nye. Bema ben de betena sa wo jimie ho. Bema ni obate na watwe bia na adnyonko ayafa na obuafu wo ye bibi ni ye ka wo si aka wani mu amura wani wo ne nkasa na watwe onfa ofre na onfa wo ne bema te wo si why bibi on penti ofre na onfiu. I mean, this is what it is. We go on cold war. You are not married. This is what is happening. You know kasa na obuafu bedwe mu amura wani kakra na every time they ask, is everything okay? I think you have found your face. I'm not fine. Obeka nsema ensemfun, and the way the girl spoke to you, I didn't like it. I didn't know why you are standing there, and somebody because US some time ago, and there was this lady, a very big woman in one of the Ghanaian organizations for US. But Oshiami debia obebam me. Ni asri hello my husband. Me go do ono jina ho. Ojina echi wadan echi ejina ho no hwe me. Enti the original na me hear me say surprise, my man is surprised. And I'm called this afternoon and you see no and I feel the smell. It is you, Counselor Lito, you are the one I'm waiting for. And yes, 3 years. Who didn't say now branching on the on ni sex mate? Me meaning boyfriend. Ubi do be on your boyfriend or sex mate. The only do your boyfriend. The do be your sex mate. And it's not branching on your sex mate. Right after many years, I hear 3 call. That was the end. Man, ten can be program na see nyina no she was do no ampa na go bebe dwuma abesa aye we event na say. And later 3 days later na me sending message one respond you say I get back to you. Me go be say na sema o say the sex mate no original one bufu say aden e na me buy no me bam no e na no so sere no gitum no ha game. Obi on wale wo. E na no so I so worried. Na asema o kan ye me hinti a me ye ya nso ejimi fo no o se o pese o ye 3-way phone call na me mpaga ni cho say me sorry
for what.
Thank you. Say me buy me be bam no so bam bi na be ma jimi fo say o wa bi mu yade on wali wu mponie
na be worry o
and we nye counseling ade. What was here? So I grab a chef ya no pa.
yeah.
And in penny for the omu ofie. Na baby adu na nsɛn no. Enkwala nya sika omu mbu opanyi ofie. And in penny oti fie no, obi fie abroche be wale. Oba ye na asofo no say ye ntumi nya counseling man now. E be take 6 months no. And obe ma asofo no watch. Ye gina ye bon komo a opie ya. Oh man of God, how are you doing? Asantini abranti akọ abroche aba. How you doing? I say I'm doing well. I just wanted to check if the shoe size was okay for you and if the wristwatch was giving you rashes. So the guy was telling all of us, shoe, any watch, send a bit of a fast track here. Why would somebody buy a contract with a wristwatch and a shoe?
What is this?
If you are supposed to go through 12 sections for counseling, so why you need 12 sections now? Me pass with that enko wale. Come before. Me and I me we are madam for now kwa wade na me say enye me nko na we ya wade na me mba eze me say wade na 3 years begu awade mbi ya me say begu bi egu enye say me ye bonsam, but I see the signs on the wall.
Okay, that's great. So you see it even before they go into the warrior program.
Because obi hagi obi na abuafu na oba no so and see women play the victim too foolishly. I am your friend. I am not your sex mate. He's your sex mate. What at all is he bringing on board? That because of him, you lose all the friends around you. I've traveled from Ghana and you don't see me every day. I've landed in a place I'm going to spend 14 days, maximum 14 days, less 10 days and leave. And you've always wished to see me. About 3 years, back. Because of the guy there. So they share your dear one grow yesterday. Or say, I mean, what do you mean? I mean, who born dog? Why no?
No.
And because of this, you are there. My friend will
control lifestyle.
But Obama believe says she's at fault. Once the sex mate is around, she shouldn't do things like this. I mean, if my wife sees an ex-boyfriend right now, I wish my wife will hug the ex-boyfriend. Do you know why? So that the ex-boyfriend will feel the new perfume on my wife and realize that, hey, now your smell has changed. what are you using? Then she begins to mention the list of perfume she's using, and the guy will see, say, awadi awadi pa. Did you get what I'm talking about? If my wife is going to old student union meeting, I'll let her drive the best car to the place, or give her a driver. Let the ex-boyfriend feel that this guy you left had become okay. So why should somebody? What is jealousy? Exactly. Any man who is jealous, any woman who is jealous, is a witchcraft. You are a witch. You are before, because jealousy destroys relationship. They be aware muna. You be pia kwa bontia, but they be aware muna. Adentia, BBC. You are cold. You kasano assembly abekan. You are cold. So every time you are settling disputes, my sister, this life we are living. This is why marriages are not working. Too much. Pettiness. Obinya rival. You see, he's my rival. Rivals are made when a man is married to two women. It's me yirechi semini otwe mpna me yiri nya ukra. My wife is not your rival. You are there as a side chick because of my wife. When I don't have a wife, you are no more a side chick. You understand? And when I come to you and tell you my wife doesn't give me sex, my wife says this, my wife says this, it doesn't mean that you are more important than my wife. So why do you see my wife and insult her? Why do you see my wife and you frown your face?
That's true.
Why you see my wife and you disrespect my wife? Mind you, I've married a woman for 22 years, 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, and you have been with me for 2 years. What at all do you think that you are doing for me that for the 22 years she has never done before? And my wife becomes your target. So you see, we have too much problems. That is why we can't stay in marriage and do the right thing. Common boyfriend, girlfriend. Oh, hey. Why not tell okay no? Na me ne kasa na why na kasa we chire ho no. Na na mo pon ye no. Na me kasa o pon ye mo so me pon 10. Na ya bought 10:35. Ade afi. What is wrong with us? So you see our lives? It is not the devil, it's not the cancer.
We see the signs and we still go into that marriage.
Because we think ye wari a obesesa. On wali minti no de na bibiri eda. O wari mia obejai. Na one the catch us say awade esi mpran twe ano. Ana awade esi mpema agro ano. Oh please. One of the times that sex become boring and useless is marriage. Because women see sex in marriage as their duty. And men see sex in marriage as their duty. So one of the boring sexual events in life is when you're married. And I thank God that sex was not made for the married, but sex was made for the sexually active. That is why even when you're not married, you can still erect and have sexual intercourse and you feel happy and feel excited. So let's not waste our energy on a lot of flimsy things. Let's work on ourselves. Let's work on ourselves.
All right, Counselor, before we go to our next topic, I would like to read the comments from our Facebook fans who are watching. Holly J. Foster, Benjamin, and others are watching. So, Pastor Atabedu Sr., he said, well-spoken counselor. He said, let it flow. He's also the UN Peace Ambassador, and he lives in United Kingdom here. Right. Okay, so Nana said, I agree with Counselor about dating the young one. Nana Asante says, intimacy is important too. Okay, Holly J. Foster says, do you then agree that if the woman doesn't need anything from a man, then a relationship should be considered better than committing to marriage?
I don't understand.
Is she right?
I don't understand. The two of us are not married. So you are not my responsibility.
That if the woman doesn't need...
We are not married.
Yeah.
So there's no commitment. Okay. So why do I waste money on you?
There's no commitment.
If you are practicing prostitution, I agree. Prostitution is one of the noble professions ever created by God. So if you are practicing prostitution, that one, I agree. Collect money for every act. That one, I agree with it. But I've not married you. Why do I go and pay your fees to go and do your master?
Yeah.
Why do I go and pay? I don't understand. And that is why you lock yourself. So there are so many women who are married to particular men that they are not supposed to be married to them. But because the men pay their fees, because the men rented for them, If you love a man, if you have the desire to be a wife to a man, and he does these things for you, and you still go ahead to be a wife, I don't have a problem. But if you are coerced or put under duress to be married because what they can, I don't want to be ungrateful. What shame? And you want to come, mommy said you are yet, and you want to scream and ye. Me ba bruchi agia no so no de ne krata ye mam na me ba ye. Ai, what we talking about? So kasa bema e yusu na otua anu ya hya wo bra koso ye. Why?
Wow. Okay. And then we have Charlotte Adotente. She said, good one there. And then Nana Asante says, good teaching on the child naming responsibility. And Charlotte said, wow, counselor, this is true talk. Susan Shreme, she said, this is it. And then who else? Kwame Buama AJ or say Odipo Lutrot. And Charlotte say he is a counselor. And Nana Asante say that's why most men who cheat tend to lose hair. All men cheaters tend to be anemic. Oh, this where they are not she.
Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. So let's come to our main topic for today, infidelity. So, counselor, how would you describe this infidelity thing? Can we have an understanding?
I think that infidelity is one of the giftings and the right reserve of the married. So simply put, infidelity is the same place word called cheating. So infidelity happens to be an act of unfaithfulness in the side of any of the spouse. So the legal term for cheating under the law is infidelity. Simply put, when a man decides to have a romantic relationship with another person behind the spouse, or when a woman decides to have a romantic sexual relationship with another man behind the husband, it is considered as infidelity, or simply put, cheating. Now, there are two things every married person must expect. To say, me, I'm married. And the two things I'm expecting in my marriage is divorce and cheating. So when my wife cheats, it's normal. When I cheat, it's normal. When we hear we are divorcing, it's normal. When my wife asks for divorce, it's normal. Because if you are not married, you can't cheat. If you are not married, you can't divorce. And there's no way in the Bible that God is against cheating and God is against divorce. Because he knows it's part of marriage. So infidelity is cheating. But cheating is blessing for anybody who is married. So for the rest of you who are not married, you can't cheat. If you are not married, you can't commit infidelity. The Lord doesn't recognize you to be somebody who is infidel. You know at all. In nowhere. But once you are married, it's part of the marriage. It's like buying banana and you say, I would like the banana, but remove the peel. When the peel is removed, when the peel of the banana is removed, there's no more banana for you again. That's just it. So once you buy the banana, you don't pay when you have behind no. And no, you pay the banana. When they finish, the peel of the banana, what you decide to use it for is your own cup of tea. Ube rio, ube duao, ube fertilizer, ube chia, and they can do on account where so once you decide to marry, be ready for infidelity. And when it happens, it's not the end of life. It's part of marriage. That's my definition.
So what's the cause? What's the cause of infidelity? And then the will be I cheat on a spouse or so. What causes it?
I hear a lot of books. 917 reasons for cheating. 50 reasons why men will cheat. 30 reasons why women will cheat. All those books are lies. I've read most of those books and they are full of lies. Recently, somebody launched a book and the title is Signs That Your Spouse is Cheating. I said, you are demonic. We are bonsam. Because when I read the book, the things that they have written that shows that your spouse is cheating, none of them is true. But people have downloaded, people are buying, and they are using it. I have cases in my office where people are now looking at their spouse as people who are cheating because of the book and the signs. They said, these are the signs. One of the signs that I read in one of the books, I don't want to give the author a mileage, is that if your spouse gets a phone call and you are sitting in the TV room and he goes to receive the call outside, it means she is cheating or he is cheating on you. The other one is that if your spouse is always guarding their phone with password and with images that you won't see, it's a sign that they are cheating. If your spouse decides to pick calls at all times when you are together, it means, I said, what? Are you sure this is a sign of cheating? Because in sensible, qualified communication therapy, one of the good things that happens to us rather is when we are all sitting and watching TV, and unfortunately for us, I have a phone call. One of the good things and respect that is said to be in communication is rather, I should excuse you by walking out to go and pick the call than muting the television. Because the person didn't call the landline in the house. The person called my cell phone. And it is my call. Why should I be sitting with you in a TV room as my wife? And I receive a call and everybody must keep quiet in the TV room so that I can receive my call. Who born dog? Who am I? Then you say once I take the call out of the place to disturb you, it's because I'm cheating. Why do you write a book like this?
But what about if the person who called you is your girlfriend or your boyfriend?
Did they call you? Who did they call? When you're free, a man send me a phone call, and at me determine say the phone call that has come is my girlfriend who's calling. To the extent say, omit me phone number, me phone so, Frobi, hello madam, hello young girl, my name is Mrs. Lutrot. You are surprised, eh? Well, I got your number from my husband's phone. I want you to know that the Lutrot you are going out with is married with 7 children. We have been married for 25 years now. I want to tell you that if you want to live long and have your own husband in future, leave this man alone. Otherwise, you will be surprised. I'm advising you as a young girl. I'm not angry. Immediately, your wife can pick a call from your phone and can call a particular lady she suspects she's your side chick and talk to your girl. Your wife is very stupid and you have to divorce her immediately because she can kill you. This is a disgrace. How can you take a number from my phone? You can't protect the lady you are going out with as a side chick. If you can expose people like this, who are you? So in the first place, you have broken my privacy. Because the law says that even in marriage, we are still individuals. And under the spousal law, there is something called spousal secret. So if somebody writes a book and tell you that when people are hiding names from you, oh, there's another one. They say, check the ringer tone of your spouse. If they have more than one ringer tone on their phone, see the type of words that they have used for you. If the song they play for you is godly and not romantic, and there's another song on their phone that is romantic, whoever they play for, they are cheating with the person. So for example, if you are my wife and your ringer tone is Nya Udimia Bedui, me fe dodo. Niawaya mami. Ebrometia see isu. Entimi pa bini. Now why? So that's my ringatone for my wife. Then there is another one. Don't know me, don't know. Oh, don't me, oh. So that one, once that song is not for my wife, but it's for somebody else, it means I'm cheating. Why do you write such a book? The other one is that check the name your husband has stored for you and check other people's name. So once I store your name, my wife's name, my wife, and I store somebody else, babe, it means I'm cheating. This is a stupid book. Because in the first place, when you take my phone, you should not be able to identify my wife's number. Yes. You shouldn't be able to see this is my wife for security reasons. And it's my phone. I choose what ringatone I give who. I choose what name I write for you. As you are sitting there, if you see the name I've written for you, maybe you go and commit suicide. So if you tell somebody, see that.
What if the person is Kansla?
Yes.
What if the person is really cheating? Well,
but
cheating.
But can you stop anybody from cheating? Can you?
No.
Cheating is a personal decision. And it's either a weakness or a strength in an individual. Some people, cheating is a weakness that we need to work on them to get strength over it. Some people, cheating is their strength.